up, guys? Welcome to local band Smokeout. Any genre from anywhere in the entire world. I want to hear your music.
I think we are all set. Ladies and gentlemen, the words we use!
Give me a hell yeah!
Yes!
Yeah!
Hell yeah.
Boys, we are so excited for this interview. This is one of those interviews that I personally have like circled on the calendar, like excited to do this. My co-host today is JB Music 661 on just about everything. But fellas, I know you guys hit me up a couple months back, but I didn't realize what I was in store for with how fucking good your music is. And I think we started with Silver Spoon with Aaron. We'll get to all that stuff. But I want to start with this. Why the 12-year gap in between both albums? And before you answer it, please let us know where you are in the world, plug and promote anything and everything.
I'm in New York, upstate New York, in the 4-degree weather, just hanging out, drinking some bourbon.
It's cold.
It's very cold. Trying to stay warm.
I like some bourbon. It's a good call. Do you guys
I'm
have
up in Connecticut. It's probably right around 5 degrees here, and also drinking some bourbon.
How does that work being from Connecticut and New York, and like how did you guys end up meeting and forming this project?
We started this project in 2011, and we first put together a song with Caleb Shomo of Attack. We drove out to Ohio, spent a couple days with him, and he really helped our band at the time, which was just kind of getting our feet wet in the music scene, and he kind of pointed us towards this direction of, hey, you guys kind of need to get a metal vocalist. And Andrew used to live probably like 25, 30 minutes away from us. He's since moved out to New York. But we've found ways to make it work, where he travels to us, and we've got a nice little setup. We haven't really gotten together to do a lot of in-person music yet, since rekindling. But yeah, the renewal of this whole thing that started in 2011, we were relatively popular through 14 is kind of where we had a hiatus. I got married maybe 2021, and we all just got back together for the first time. Thank you so much. And this idea kind of came out, like, let's do a reunion show, which then became, let's do a single, and that single ended up being a 4-song EP, and then it was, fuck it, let's make an album.
Did you guys go back to Caleb
World.
for did Caleb produce Dark World, or did you go to a different direction?
No. Yeah, so Caleb produced our first single. It's called I Like Your Style, Kid. He's also on the song with his former colleague, Sean Mikowski, who was playing for My Ticket Home at the time, but also playing for Attack. So he helped us kind of launch, and then we went to Chango Studios in Florida to record with Cameron Mizell and Jake Garland, who's drummer of Memphis Mayfire. We did our 4-song EP in 2012. That was called Morals. That's kind of like, when we found our concrete sound. We had a pretty good feature on there with Kellen Quinn. And then we did one more release as a single, 2013. It's a song called Absence. And then that's kind of where I backed out of the words we use, because I had a kid, and I said, I can't be doing the touring thing with the little one. But these boys continued on, and they made an EP called Entitlement. I think that was Andrew, like 2015, 16.
Yeah.
It was right around there.
Yeah.
And so
it was 2015. We went out
to
to Michigan.
2015.
Yeah.
So it was
Where did you guys record that?
It was like the wedding that kind of brought everything back together for you and Andrew.
Full circle moment.
That's so cool that you guys
for sure,
that you guys stayed homies all those years, and you were like, you know what? get the band back together. Let's get Aaron Gillespie on a record. Let's rock the fuck
Oh,
out
yeah.
and drop what I think is one of the best albums of last year. Literally, Dark World is so good. There's no skips. We play Ouroboros
thank you for saying
on
that.
like a regular basis over here, which I know is like the intro song, but it's such a good intro song to, like, if you don't know the band and you just start there on track 1, it like preps you for what's to come. Also, the hell does Ouroboros mean?
Yeah, Ouroboros is I don't know if it's Greek or Egyptian, but it's an old symbol. It's a snake eating its own tail. You've probably seen it before.
In the lyric
we've
videos,
used the
yeah.
image a couple of times. Yeah, and so it's supposed to be like a sign of life and death and renewal and just kind of like starting over. And that's just a consistent theme throughout the album, but also in our personal lives. And I think just kind of rekindling, and giving this another shot is also kind of full circle moment for us too. So that's become kind of like the symbol of the album. The snake is like very consistently reoccurring through the album, and yeah, Ouroboros is just kind of starting at the end. So that song starts it, but also as you listen through, it's actually a concept album. If you're just kind of looking at the lyrics, and it just really kind of revolves. So it's a cool image, but it's also like super meaningful to the album itself.
Is there plans of extensive touring? I know you guys said you don't live anywhere near each other, but and you recently moved to New York, Andrew, or not recently, but you live there now. Is there plans of doing a lot of gigs and touring, or is it kind of focusing on other things and then here's the singles, blah blah, and we'll figure out if the people want it?
Yeah, I think that later part, it's kind of like if there's a demand and it makes sense, then we'll absolutely do it. We're not teenagers anymore, unfortunately, so we can't just cram ourselves into a Sprinter and just run around the States like we've done before. We all have families and kids, and so, but yeah, if it makes sense, then we're in.
Cool.
I think the thought was for us, like, we wanted to really just, without any restraints, without any pressure, like we're on a time crunch, we got to get this album out or this release out by a certain date. We just took our time and we're like, let's not think about what comes later. Let's just really try to dial in and make some of the best music we've ever made. And so now that like the music's been coming out, I think it's only been out for like a month. We're kind of figuring out like what the next steps are for us. But I mean, that's definitely would be awesome to go and do some more shows.
JB, what you got?
When it comes to writing music, also it's amazing to meet you guys. Thank you guys for being here today. But when it came
Thanks
to
for
music, awesome. He mentioned that you guys had a big, break between, putting out music. Were you guys still getting together, jamming here and there, or were you guys doing side projects? How did you, live a life without making the music for the band? Because when it comes to my life, if I'm not making music, I feel so empty. So I'm just curious to have your insight.
That's a great question, man.
I think I'll go first on that one. I think filling the void with, trying to be as much of as adults as we could be, as well as fathers. We both ended up having kids, bought houses, really just kind of filled a lot of those gaps with that type of stuff. And I think when we figured it all out and kind of started coasting, it was like, well, we said, do we do music again? Because that's obviously something that we all loved doing 12 years ago. For me, I had done some side work with Chris Wiseman of Currents and Shadow of Intent, who actually was the engineer, producer, wrote the guitars for the album for Dark World. Great guy. He's been a great friend of ours for a long time. But yeah, that, like you said, that void of like not having music for a long time was pretty tough. And then when you start to coast and you don't have it, you definitely feel it. So.
You guys are both musicians, man. It's that itch that never goes away.
Yeah, it never.
It's something that you always want, dude. It doesn't go away. I mean, for the years that we didn't do anything, the whole time it's like, well, let me find an excuse to.
You got to just find one. Just be like, to talking to your lady
Yeah,
or
for
whoever,
real.
like, you know what, I just gotta do this. I have to. It's in me. I have to do it. I want to know, like, who vocally and musically influenced you guys to pick up a microphone and experiment with high pitched singing, experiment with testing your voice, high screams, low screams. Like, why, who, when you were younger, you were like, I want to do that.
That's a cool question.
Uh,
You want to go first, Andrew?
yeah, I'm trying to think who my big three would be. Mitch Lucker would be up there.
Awesome.
Um,
One of the greatest.
Danny Warsnop, Stand Up and Scream was a big one. Dare I say, early Craig Mabbitt. I've had a couple of people that I've tried to model things after, but yeah, probably those three, and then throw in like, Phil Bozeman, just the deathcore icons I really looked up to growing up. Tried to model a lot of the stuff that I do after them.
Some legends. You name some legends.
Yeah, I would say that one of the cool things too about one of the songs that we have with Aaron is that when we were looking for a feature, it wasn't just like, well, let's hit up like everybody that we know in the music space. It was we made like a list of, here's all of like the people that like really inspired us like early on, and Aaron was at the top, and he was the first person we reached out to, and he got back to us like that day and was like, all right, done. So, I mean, we definitely all, I think as a group, like Under Oath was a huge band for us. For me personally, I'm like super competitive. And so like being a singer that sings high, like I was always looking up to like, Tillian Pearson or Kellen Quinn or all those, and then obviously we did some music with them. But I mean, just like, I guess Dylan Anderson was always like a really big one of Machines, if you guys are familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just whoever had like the biggest range, that was inspiring for me as a singer for sure.
You seem like somebody that might be an Anthony Green fan also.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, of course.
We love Anthony Green also.
Dude, I remember "She Loves Me So."
Yeah,
oh my god, it's
absolutely.
an incredible high note. Just like with an acoustic guitar in a small room.
Let's say hypothetically tomorrow there's a gig going down. Maybe it's in New York, maybe it's not. Wherever. What is your guys' vocal warm-up techniques to be able to deliver the boastful style of how you guys project your vocals? What do you do before, and then also hypothetically, let's roll it into, hey, all of a sudden we've got a show tomorrow night and the next night after tonight. How would you cool down and be ready, have your throats ready for the next two nights after tonight?
Well, I was more classically trained. And so, I kind of grew up doing, all of the very standard techniques, lip rolls, staccatos, humming, all types of stuff that's good for your throat. I used a program for a long time called Singer Size, which is what a lot of people that do opera use. And I remember when I met Andrew for the first time and I tried to get him to do that in a car with me, like singing like this weird opera shit, like next to this guy that I barely knew. And he's like a screamer. And he's like looking at me like,
he's like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Like, this is, there's no way that this, but I think he's done it a lot. And like, he's definitely evolved a lot as a musician. Like there's a lot of sing screaming, I guess is what you would call it on this album. And, that's a new technique that he's kind of messed around with. And I think probably all the vocal exercises hopefully have helped. But as far as recovery, just getting sleep, man, just like getting sleep is so important on your voice, and then the next morning, just being able to kind of give yourself a little bit of time, a little vocal rest. And then I'm a big cough drop fan, so I'm sucking on those things all day.
Cool. I want to do some trivia. I'm going to send it to JB here in a second. But to do the trivia, I'm hoping you boys brought the hot sauce.
Oh shit! I saw you down a whole bottle of hot sauce before you started.
We take our hot sauce and our trivia very seriously around here. There's still he came. Andrew came prepared. He's got the high class truffles ready to go. Is there a chance, Tyler, you could go grab anything from a Taco Bell hot sauce pack to Tapatio to some ghost pepper shit? That
I'm loaded, brother.
Oh, you're good to go. Okay. So I'm gonna look up trivia on the side while JB asks a question. But I want to know if Tyler and Andrew, can you guys agree on a movie or TV show, one or the other, that
Okay.
you've seen so many times. If I look up
I already know
trivia,
the answer to this.
what you got?
Breaking Bad. I feel like that's the one that if you're talking about me and him agreeing on something.
You have to agree. Tyler, can you agree on Breaking Bad? You've seen Breaking Bad a couple times, or at least once?
Greatest show of all time.
Okay, I'll take that
Greatest
as a yes.
TV show ever made.
Okay, JB, hit him, and I'll be right back with some trivia, and we're gonna stump him.
All right. Life came in and was like, you know what? Music is no longer a thing. You have to stop. What are you going to find yourself doing day by day other than work? You know, we all slave away, and I understand you have to do it for your family. But if you had a choice to do something every single day that wasn't music, what would it be?
It's interesting. Shit. Grow pot, probably.
Well, some weed.
There we go.
Weed every
There we
day.
go.
All right. So you guys are super stoners, and we didn't even know it.
Game.
No, it's just me.
I don't do it.
Tyler
but-
Tyler don't.
So,
partake.
so are we looking for mutual ground in these questions? Like we have to try to like have an answer where we both agree, or just
So on the
No,
regarding
just-
the
that was
trivia or JB's question.
oh JB's question.
Okay, yeah, you can. It's completely different answers individually.
Got it. All right. I was trying to see like, man, I don't know, Andrew. You kind of took your own approach.
I was like, I'm not going with that one. That's not my answer. Yeah.
It's like I don't know if I'm going to be grown with. Laws are a little different in Connecticut. I'm a big nerd, so I'm a big fan of like video games, Pokemon. I'd probably open my own like card and game store. That would be a fun
I
thing to
love
do on
that.
the side. Hell yeah!
A video game store. What's
Yeah,
what's
video
your
games,
top 3
collectibles,
games
cards.
any system of all time?
That one for sure.
Zelda for sure.
I mean, I would have to just put all 3 as Zelda, and I would just rank the games because it's just the greatest franchise ever made. I would say Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Is a pretty close second.
The Super
Majora's
Nintendo
Mask
one
for
gotta
sure.
be in the top 3. The Super Nintendo one.
Dude, it's so hard though. It's just like a disappointment the whole time. I would say for all of the more, Wind Waker is incredible. I love that game. So good. The art style is incredible. I'm a huge fan of that game. But the newer ones, they're pretty good. Tears of the Kingdom, kind of where we got actually the idea for the Ouroboros. It's their logo for that particular one is it's an Ouroboros. And if you look at the words we use logo, I can see it right up there on the top. Little Easter egg for you. There's a lot of Easter eggs throughout the album, but if you look at like the top yellow
Yeah.
little tiny things, see, it's
blue
like
and the yellows
left,
right here?
up or down. Yep, those are the notes that you play for the Song of Time in Zelda to
Oh
go back in time.
shit! Okay, cool. That is a fun
Yep,
little Easter egg.
which is an Ouroboros, right? Like
That's
starting
amazing.
over.
I love that.
Isn't that cool?
Whether you guys
Hell
get
yeah.
the trivia right or wrong, I'm gonna do hot sauce. Whether you get it right or wrong, I have classic habanero level 12 here for me, and we're gonna start with an easy one. There's only 2 trivia questions, but we're gonna start with an easy one. Depending if you get it right or wrong, determines if I'm gonna go easier or harder on the next trivia question. But you got to selected Breaking Bad. Jesse goes home, and his parents are doubtful he is clean. They are very suspicious. Why do they kick him out of the house? What is the exact reason Jesse's parents kick him out of the house?
I feel like there's an obvious answer for that one.
I think his younger brother had like marijuana or something on it, and Jesse took the fall for it and said that it's his, and so they kicked Jesse out. Right?
Andrew, do you agree? Disagree? What is your answer?
Yes.
That is correct!
Give me a hell yeah.
Let's go.
Well, shit. We got to go harder with the next one. Boys, I want to know on Dark World, what was the hardest song to record, write, and why? Maybe it was a particular lyrically challenging song. Maybe instrumentally there were some issues and you couldn't find the arrangement, how the vocals go. What was the hardest song to write and record for Dark World?
Parasite would be my vote. I don't know where Tyler stands on that one.
Parasite was definitely the most technical song, but I think in terms of like challenges and roadblocks, we reworked Dia de los Muertos a handful
Yeah.
of times. We couldn't quite get the flow of that song the way we wanted it to go. But I would say lyrically, probably Phoenix, the one that we put out the most recent music video for. There's a reference to every song that we've ever written in that song, and we wanted to make it flow seamlessly while still kind of, fitting in with the concept of the rest of the album. So that one was a challenge. Definitely spent the most time lyrically writing that song.
Do you guys have like a structure of how you begin a song? Like, is there like, here's the instrumental, however we obtained it, the band went and did this and that? Do you typically start with the Tyler or Andrew? Do you get it first, or how do you guys go back and forth? Are we talking like FaceTime? You both have your DAWs open?
Yeah.
Yeah, when we have the
I
track,
wish it wasn't.
that's definitely how we do it. We send it back and forth, and like we'll send voice memos, or I'll record something into my phone of an idea. We'll throw those back and forth. But as far as the song writing went, Wiseman was actually based out of Beacon, so he was like the perfect middle ground for all of us. So we would kind of ride out there and spend a day in the studio once, maybe twice a week, and just kind of see what we get done. And then we'd all go home and digest it, listen to it 100 times, and kind of pitch our ideas to each other, and then keep going with that formula until we were all happy and satisfied with what we had.
What I'll say is that's the most efficient way that I've ever written music in the past versus just like, let's get together in a room with all our instruments and just, rehearse the same thing that we've been trying to get to. And, do you remember that part? Do you remember that part? We basically were throwing down ideas and building off of them in real time as we were writing in the studio, which gave us so many options and tools to work with that we never had in the past. So it was a cool experience. It was definitely different for us. And I would say over the time of, the 12 to 15 years that we've been making music, this is probably the most unique way we've done it so far, but we're really happy with how it turned out.
I mean, it came out great. So whatever the formula is that you guys got, don't change it. Just stick with that. It's so good. JB, what you got?
So when it comes to your music, you've been talking a lot about the snake eating its own tail and having that message of the beautiful message you guys have as the band. Is that what you guys want to have a lasting like the lasting impression of your band, or do you guys have specific reasons of why you guys do music, or is it just kind of like a shared idea?
Well, I think we probably in our own personal lives all want to do music for our own reasons. I think kind of like, we were saying before, I think if you're a musician and you've at any point in your life like pursued music, it's just that itch never goes away. So, I could probably speak for all of us in saying like that's, I guess just a drive that won't, dissipate. But I think for like the meaning and the whole, like the snake thing, a lot of that came from like the lyrics. And I mentioned it was a concept album. It follows a story throughout the whole thing. It's a husband, a wife, and a kid. And each song is written from different perspectives. And so, the snake is supposed to be one of the characters, kind of how they see this character. And so depending on which song you're listening to, I guess like the lasting impression could be a positive thing, could be a negative thing. But that is also kind of up for the listener to interpret. But I would say, overall, we're just thankful to be making music again.
Boys, we're going to stump you right now.
Fair.
The stump begins now. In Breaking Bad, what 80s one-hit wonder did Gail karaoke on the tape Hank shows to Walt? There's no way you're going to get this.
Come on, man.
I mean, you got the first one. I got to stump you. What is the song that Gail is singing in the background in the Hank shows Walt tape, which occurs in season 4, by the way?
I'll take the hot sauce loss, but I will say, in looking up to people like Tillian Pearson and Kellen Quinn singing High, Gail Bedecker is high up on that list when singing that song because it's like a very fast something. I don't remember what the song was.
He gets
I would
off
guess
in like
maybe
the worst
Queen.
way in that show.
Is it Queen?
Too. It is not Queen,
sure
but
does.
it's a great
It's
guess. It is
It's
not Queen.
Right.
So we enjoy the hot sauce. We'll do the hot sauce with you. Don't worry. It is David Bowie's it's Major Tom. Major Tom, by the way.
Damn. Is it Major Tom?
It says everyone but Walt is laughing, watching Gail on the tape. Hank later refers to him as Gail Major Tom as they're playing 1983's David Bowie's. In 1983, they're playing David Bowie's 1969 hit Space Oddity.
Space
Damn,
Oddity.
that's crazy. Okay.
The ground
All right.
controlled Major Tom. I think.
Major Tom.
Yeah, that one right there.
Hell yeah.
So
Damn, I
hot
did
sauce it
not
up. What,
realize that.
Andrew? Which truffle did you pick?
This, sir, is the habanero lime infused black truffle.
Sounds yummy.
It's
Let's knock it.
incredible.
Let's
I
knock it.
just tried it.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Blech. I'm done with that one.
Yeah, he's right. Actually, that's really good.
Oh,
Blech.
that
If-
was
if-
really,
if-
really viscous.
If hypothetically, let's say Dark World, and we're praying for you guys. We want you guys to succeed. But let's say nothing happens. 6-7 months from now, do you anticipate getting back in the studio in the future and doing another EP or album for the words we use? Or is this kind of like
We're already working on the next one.
You're already. Let's go. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Can you tease us in
Hell yeah.
any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, really small one. We I guess in getting that feature with Aaron, you know, I guess we got kind of like our dream clean singer. And so now we wanted to do another feature, and I've been chatting with somebody that we've always looked up to as a band. So I'm not going to say who, but we have a feature on that one coming that it's been like one
is
of
this
the
like a
biggest,
one-off
metal
single?
inspirations for us.
Is this a one-off single you're referring to, or is it part of something larger?
It's so far it's a one-off single, but I mean that's how Dark World started. So who knows, man?
Was it complicated
Yes.
to get Aaron to be involved in the music video?
So it worked out really well because we have the location that we shot was one of the offices that one of our band members owns, and it was like not even 10 minutes away, probably 5 minutes away from where they were staying when they were on tour. They came through our city, they were doing a show there, and so we were like, hey, you already did this feature, can you come hang out with us for a couple hours and shoot? And he was like, hell yeah. So it was it worked out really
Amazing.
well.
That is cool. This is perfect timing.
We were hyped, man.
Perfect timing.
Also, like the most interesting person to like hang out with in a small span of time. That guy is just incredible. Like really good storyteller, can like really dive deeply into your life. It's very interesting to be around.
When you guys referenced earlier that Under Oath was such an influence, were you referring to Chasing Safety or something beyond that? Because they got a little heavier.
Chasing Safety and The Great Divide. I mean, those two albums.
Those are the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the
I
two.
like that's
For sure.
they're staples in the scene. I did a high school report on Aaron when I was 16 years old. So,
Did you show him the report when you hung
having
out with him? Do you still have it? Did you show it to him?
No, sir. That would have been a trip. I don't know if he would have thought. He probably would have thought I was nuts and just left immediately.
I think that shit like that is cool
Actually,
though.
speaking of that, funny part. So, like he said, one of the band members, we shot the music video at his shop. So he owns a paint shop, and he was getting a delivery that day. And the delivery guy that was delivering the paint just so happened to have an Under Oath tattoo right on his forearm. So we sent Aaron out to receive the delivery that this kid was bringing in.
He probably freaked.
And we actually,
Dude,
so
we
so
thought
much
the
that there
kid was
no
going to go
reaction.
ballistic. He was just
No
in
reaction.
shock, man.
Imagine.
I have a lot of tattoos. I don't have a lot of band tattoos. So I can imagine, like, if you have one tattoo and it happens to... This kid had one Under Oath U on his arm. That was it. So, like, you could tell, massive fan. This kid froze up. Like, had no idea how to handle it. And Aaron's just sitting there
Amazing.
saying, like... Yeah, I used to do the music thing. Now I'm just kind of, this is my new gig now. Just unloading paint.
Yeah.
Life's kind of hard. The road's been tough. He's just like cracking jokes. This music not having it at all. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy, man.
That is wild.
Yeah,
That
definitely
is,
really
that's
fun.
so cool of you guys to like I'm assuming kind of set that up. That is fun and a way to make his day, probably his year. That I'd imagine. That's insane.
Oh, dude,
though.
for sure. I think he went back the following week and he asked the owner, he's like, was that real?
Yeah, that is crazy.
For sure.
We have time for JB to ask one or two last ones. I'm gonna send off one or two final questions, and we'll let you boys go. And I appreciate your time, but let's do a couple more.
Yeah, guys. This question is independent to each of you, so you can have your own answer. But I asked this to everybody: what is a dream venue that you want to play? And if you already played it, please let us know. But I'm looking for like a dream venue that you guys want to be at one day.
Chain Reaction for me.
Yes, it's one of my favorite venues in California.
That's over by us.
I'm
Let's
there
go.
I'm there at least 4 or 5 times a year. It only holds like 200 people, but it's all ages and it's the best.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching like every band that I loved play there, so that's always been a dream venue of mine.
If a band that you love is going to play there, you better be on their list of like, that they're going to announce this day of, because like I said, they only hold like 200 people there, so it sells out in seconds. But it's one of those venues where you can like, I don't want to say it like this, but it sounds weird, but you can like touch the artist. From a fan perspective, you can touch the artist. What I mean by that is like, there's no bad seat in the house. It's so small that you just feel like you're involved in the set.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
What would you say, Tyler?
I would say, just for like the aesthetics, I think the Wang Theater is, I don't know, in Boston, it's just like one of the most beautiful venues I've ever seen. Basically just look up and it looks like, just gargoyles and statues, and it looks like, Sistine Chapel is painted on the ceiling. It's wild looking. It's really, really cool. But as far as like, big staple music venues, probably House of Blues would be incredible. Love that place.
Yeah.
My last thing is, I understand that you guys have been sipping on some bourbon. Would you guys be interested in taking a shot with BG and I?
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Well,
right
I finished my bourbon.
What do you guys
so
sipping on?
If you have 10 seconds
Well,
for me to get it.
My shit is wax,
Yeah, go
so
ahead, Tyler.
don't
Go
ask
ahead,
what
Tyler.
I'm drinking. But it's whiskey. It's a blend. We call it a blend.
Ooh.
It's a blend.
Yeah, a little yellow spot 12.
I live off that tequila, that Jose Cuervo silver.
I'm a well guy too. We budget around these parts the best we can. Oh, but that we can do. I don't know if YouTube. I don't think YouTube will yell at us because there's 400 videos of me smoking weed on camera. So fuck it, Andrew. Let's get it. Let's get it.
I think Andrew gave this to me. Did you give this to me?
I did.
I think you gave this to me at my wedding. So I've been like, I've been sipping on it.
So it's been a while.
So I feel like
Hell yeah.
You've been married, Tyler, you've been married for a couple of years now, right? You mentioned.
couple of years, yeah, yes sir.
So you're averaging
Happily married,
a half
best wife in the world.
a shot a year at this pace on Andrew's bottle.
On this bottle, I would say yes. On other bottles collectively, unfortunately, probably
let's
a lot more than
dent
I
it a
would
little
care
bit
to
right
admit.
now. Let's dent it a little bit right now.
Hell yeah.
Cheers, boys.
Saludos.
We thank you so much. I have a couple more questions and we'll call it a day.
Way better than the hot sauce.
Is there...
That's what I'm saying.
Let's see. When Morals was out, I assume that you guys, prior to Andrew, you moving to New York, that you guys gigged often. Is there an experience you had as a smaller local band that you realized we should never do this? And this would be for other local bands that see this interview. This would be like an advice portion that you could give them. Like, oh, we should have never worked with this promoter. He wanted this, or don't do this. Instead, spend your money this way. It doesn't have to be money involved, but some kind of knowledge or advice that you could give. What you got, Andrew?
So There was one weekend where we got offered to play, I think it was Scream It Like You Mean It tour out in Poughkeepsie. But we had already booked another show at a hall with some really good friends of ours. And it was going to be a packed out VFW style hall. So we didn't want to, miss out on this opportunity or this one. So we decided
VFW, so it was like a veterans gig.
Yeah, you used to be able to rent out those halls over here in our area, and you could just throw shows in them, and that's what we would do a lot of the times, or like clubhouses or whatever. So we were like, yeah, let's take this opportunity. We're going to play early, and then let's play our set, and then jump right in the van and head back over to Connecticut and play that show because we're going to be playing later. So we did that, and when we got to the second show, myself personally realized that wasn't the greatest idea. Ended up vomiting before the set, but my advice would be don't book 2 shows in the same day. I guess it's kind of obvious advice, right?
Was it just because you rocked out so hard the first show and maybe some shadas and booze was involved, or is it okay, I got you.
Yeah, all
I think we were like
just not eating properly throughout the day.
We were really looking forward to that first show because it was a large touring show, so a lot of big bands were on the ticket. But at the same time, the other show was our local hometown show, right? So all of our friends and family and hundreds of people. And so we put in all this effort for this first one because we were we want to make a good impression with all these other bands.
Sure.
And so we went so hard, and by the time we got back to the other one, we were I think a 9:30, 10 o'clock set, and we were so late, we were so shot, we were so tired. That was definitely a mistake. I would say for touring, if you're touring in Texas and you're sleeping in a Walmart parking lot in a van, definitely sleep underneath the van, not in the van.
Underneath the van?
That's underneath the van has a little shade. In the van, with the van off, in Texas in July, that sucked.
I like that reference, Texas in July, by the way. But
so hot.
This was so much fun, man. Like I said, we have a lot of bands on the show, and I'm excited for all of our guests. But I was a little extra excited today for this one, just because Dark World is so goddamn good. It's so good, boys. For real, you really, really busted your ass and put it all out there on this record. And I'm excited to hear this future single with a special somebody that we can look forward to in the future. But I wanna throw it to you guys one last time, Tyler and Andrew, and just tell us something that we can look forward to that we haven't heard yet, and or toss out social media links, plug, promote any way possible.
Well, thank you so much for having us, and thanks for giving us the time, listening through our music, and promoting us, and reacting and taking the time to ask us questions. So that means a lot to us. Definitely for right now, the plan is just release the single that we're working on, but hopefully there's more to come with that. I would say as far as plugging, I got a really boring social media account, but Andrew's he's pretty active.
Why is it so boring? You just don't post often, or what you post on your personal is just...
I would tell people I'm the only millennial without an Instagram. I have one, but it's I just made it for the band. I'm just not a big social media guy. My thought is, live life and enjoy the experiences that you have rather than live in your phone,
I can dig that for sure.
Hell yeah.
What you got, Andrew? Take the time, plug, promote anything, something you want us to know about the words we use, we can look forward to, anything.
I mean, pretty much what he said. Hopefully, new single, hopefully more to come after that, depending on where this all decides to take us. I mean, you got to remember, this started out as just one little thing, and it is where it is now. So this journey has grown and blown up, and excited to see how much bigger it's going to get.
There's a reason you guys talked at the wedding, man. There's a reason, and Dark World is that reason. And we want more.
Let's go.
The fans want more. So I say, bless you. I cannot explain how excited I am to hear the future single. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler and Andrew, the words we use.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Much love to you guys and your family. Much love.
Yo, thank you guys so much for having us. We really appreciate your time.
It is an absolute honor. I'll send you guys the YouTube link when it's ready. It'll be 24 hours or less, probably. I'll have that link later tonight. But thank you guys so much.
One more question. One quick question. Was trying to figure it out all day. What does BG stand for?
Ooh, I rarely get asked this, JB. Like ever.
BF Goodrich.
My wife.
No, my full government name
Goodrich.
is Brandon Gray Goodrich. And I used to get made fun of as a kid because BF Goodrich is almost my name, my initials. BF Goodrich, but I have no F. The middle name is Gray, but BG is just Brandon Gray. But nobody calls me Brandon. Everyone calls me BG. In fact, I do not like to be called.
I was wondering, man. I needed to know.
Well, I thank you. I never get asked that. I appreciate you being curious, dude. Thank you, Tyler.
How the world does. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate the time.
Cheers, and again, stay safe. We're hopefully on the road in the future, and come to California so me and JB can enjoy the show. And we look forward to the single, man. For real. Thank you, guys.
We'll see you there. See you guys.
We're looking at it.
The words we use.